It's been a rough few weeks for us, you guys, and this is your little update.
Good girls.
So in one of our last videos, I shared that we had bad news for Milton because we discovered that she had a broken tooth, and upon consultation with the vet, she discovered that Milton had a heart murmur. She graded it at a grade 3-4 on 6, and she suggested we hold off on Milton's surgery until she is seen by a cardiologist. In the previous video, I mentioned that a lot of vets were booking way, like months ahead of time, even down to October, and I was really stressed out in finding a cardiologist that could see Milton before her tooth infects. I was really worried about that. We were lucky enough to find an appointment with a cardiologist in Orange County, California at the end of February, and Milton was able to get seen by a cardiologist. So big shout out to Coast to Coast Cardiology for fitting Milton in for a full cardiology workup. So during this consultation, Milton was seen by a cardiologist. She got a full cardiac workup, which includes a chest x-ray, an EKG, an echocardiogram, and some blood work. And she also had a consultation with the cardiologist. Since this is all very technical, I'm going to include a clip from the consultation with the doctor for you to understand better, because I think I can't explain as well as she did. Just to jump to the chase, it is better news than we expected. Milton does have a heart murmur. It is a grade 2 on 6, which is very good in my opinion. I was expecting worse than that. I was expecting the worst case scenarios, as any mother would. So grade 2 on 6 is manageable for now. She says it is a very mild degeneration, and she suggests no medication for our little Milton. She says to just keep an eye out on signs of degeneration. If she starts coughing, if she starts panting a lot, if she starts getting very tired often, those could be signs that it's getting worse. She says she can keep up with the same diet, keep up the same level of exercise, no medication for now, so I'm very happy. We just need to do a follow-up with cardiology in 12 months.
So Milton's in pretty good shape. She does have some typical Cavalier heart disease that's present, but it's super mild at this point.
Okay.
How old is she?
She's 6.5.
Okay, not bad. So Cavaliers are known for getting valve disease at an early age. Degenerative valve disease is thickening of the valves that separate the atrium from the ventricle in the heart. So I'm going to draw for you. Blood comes into the right side of the heart after it's used by the body, goes in the right atrium, right ventricle then pumps the blood to the lungs, and the lungs oxygenate the blood, lungs, and then it returns to the left side of the heart, the left atrium, left ventricle, and then out the aorta, which I don't have on the page here. This valve here that separates the left atrium from the left ventricle is the mitral valve. And on the right-hand side is the tricuspid valve. And these valves in Cavaliers and any small dog undergo an age-related thickening. So nothing diet, exercise, medications, toxins causes this to happen. This is happening in all small dogs to some severity, and so we probably bred in the genetics for it, and we know for sure that there is a genetic link in Cavaliers because they tend to get it earlier in life, more like 5 years of age versus like 8 or 9 years of age. When this valve becomes thickened, it loses its seal. Every time the ventricle contracts, this valve has to close all the way and create a nice good tight seal so blood goes out the aorta. When it becomes thickened, it loses that seal in apposition, and it allows blood to go backwards into left atrium. This backflow is what we hear as a heart murmur. Okay, so that's where the heart murmur is coming from. When I listen to her, it's pretty quiet at about a grade 2 to 6, 2 out of 6. So it's extremely quiet. What I'm seeing with her is some mild early thickening of this valve and a very mild amount of backflow into left atrium. It's so small that it hasn't caused any structural changes to her heart, so it's pretty mild. She does have a little tiny mild backflow out of the tricuspid valve as well. Same disease process on the tricuspid valves and the early age-related thickening of these valves. This is pretty mild as well. When we see heart disease that's this mild, it can take years before it progresses to something severe. But when it's mild, we also don't know if it's going to progress at all. So it can progress slowly, not at all. Sometimes if there is a sudden change in the valve structure, let's say that these tendons that hold this valve in place, which are cardiac tendons, weaken because of the valve disease and it causes these valves to prolapse, then that will change the amount of blood that goes backwards in the turbulence, and that can cause a sudden change of backflow into left atrium. At this time, I do not see any evidence of prolapse or anything. It's just some very mildly diffuse thickening here.
Okay.
But if that happens, the heart murmur will change, and that will cause an increase of backflow into left atrium, and then we have this system of back and forth flow that causes left atrium to increase in size, the left ventricle to increase in size.
Okay.
If we start to see those changes, we do have medication to strengthen the heart muscle, or if its volume is severe enough, we have a volume reducer to reduce the volume in the heart. But there's no medications that will directly reverse the age changes that are there. If there's prolapse, we don't have any medications to sew them back down in place.
Okay.
But this is fairly mild, so I don't have a lot of good, future prognostics at this time because it's so mild. Other than that, at this stage, it usually tends to be quite a few number of years before it progresses. Unless something changes that we can't control, this looks pretty mild, and her prognosis at this stage is very good.
So all in all, that was good news, and I was able to schedule her for her tooth extraction because there was no contraindication from the cardiologist for her to go under anesthesia to get that little tooth handled. A few days after, Milton went in for her dental surgery, and it went super well. With the dental package here, she was able to get an x-ray, full anesthesia, and she was able to get that tooth taken care of. The x-rays didn't show any signs of major bone loss or anything, so it was just that one tooth that she got extracted, which I'm very happy about. The day of the extraction, she was very nervous. I felt so bad when I left her there. She was shaking so much, and I don't understand why we have to bring the dogs in so early. Milton was so stressed out. Some people were telling me that at their vet, they're able to bring in the dog right before the procedure, and then they're able to wait there and then pick them up right away when they wake up. For me, I had to drop off Milton at about 8:30 in the morning, and I didn't pick her up until about 5 p.m. just because they said they needed to do all the pre-surgery blood work, the x-ray, all the scans before they go in, and there's a few animals that are scheduled for surgery that day, so they just want to get them all the pre-op work done beforehand. Milton is doing very well. She was back to her normal self almost like the night of. The next morning, she was very peppy. She was able to eat okay. She was a bit groggy the night of, but she was still like very peppy and cute. She does have some oral medication for pain management that she started the night of. It's an oral medication that you give through the mouth after a bit of food. So she's been doing super well. I'm so relieved and so happy that the heart is taken care of and it's less bad than we thought. Her tooth is taken care of and she is doing super well. So thank you guys so much for all the support, honestly, and everybody reaching out just made it so much more reassuring. It made everything go smoother for sure with all your positive thoughts, your love, and your prayers. So thank you so much for your support. But that's the update on Milton, and now let's update you on Herky. So now an update on Herky. I thought that, oh, you're coughing, sweet girl. I thought that since Milton was getting a tooth extraction and a dental done, because, since a dog is under anesthesia already, might as well do a dental. So Milton got a fresh new set of teeth. They're very nice and pearly and white and all very nice. I thought Herky deserved her teeth cleaning too. The only teeth cleaning she got done was at about 3 years of age, back in 2017, approximately, or 2018. She had a tooth fracture, so when they removed that tooth, they also did a dental, and that's the only dental that she got. So I thought, you know what, she is due for a dental as well. So when Milton got her fracture in February, I went in for a consultation for Herky as well, just to get an evaluation if she needed a dental. And the vet suggested, yeah, she should go for a dental. She has a bit of tartar buildup. Nothing too bad for a Cavalier. Nothing too bad for her age. Mind you, Herky is almost 9 years old. She's our good girl. She's almost 9 years old. So I scheduled her for a dental, and she went in on a dental the day following Milton's procedure. And you guys, I can't wrap my mind around it. They extracted 11 teeth. So your girl went in there with 42 teeth, and she got out of there with 31. Like, I cannot even believe it. I thought it was just going to be a routine dental. They do x-rays, and then they told me that there was like significant bone loss, which is normal with age and with the breed predisposition. Cavaliers are predisposed to having more teeth issues because of the breeding that they did. So they just have bad teeth. I thought I was doing such a great job with her teeth. She even said that her gums look pretty good, that she doesn't have a lot of tartar buildup, but that because of the bone loss above here, there's 11 11 teeth that are loose, so she highly recommended we extract them. And at that point, Herky was already under anesthesia. I really didn't know what to do besides say yes. I really hope that the doctor knows what she was doing and that it wasn't just like, she wasn't like just trigger happy and just extracting all her teeth. I hope that she was doing it for Herky's well-being and that it was necessary. She tells us that wobbly teeth can lead to pain, it can lead to abscess, infection, and that it's just better to get them handled now when she's still young and she's under anesthesia right now. Get it taken care of now so that it can prevent future infection and future problems. So I accepted. Anesthesia lasted 45 more minutes than anticipated. So Herky was under for, I think, close to 2 hours, which I think is really long for a little dog like this. But when we picked her up, I feel like the team wanted to close and they had to go home soon. So Herky was still under anesthesia and like she didn't wake up fully yet. She was so groggy, you guys. She looked so anxious. She did not look like herself. I never ever saw her so frail and so weak and so whimpery. She was complaining. Obviously, she must be in so much pain. She must have been so disoriented. I was crying when I got home. I never saw her like that. Like I took her for a potty when we arrived home to the grass and she just let herself like slide down. It was heartbreaking. I did not know what was going on. I had never seen her with so little life in her eyes. She was whimpering, she was complaining, and I just felt terrible for her. I was like, why did I poke a sleeping bear? There was nothing wrong with her. I just went in for a dental routine clean and turns out that she needed so much more work and I feel terrible. I felt so bad for her, but I just have to keep telling myself that it was for the best. I kept thinking like, what could I have done differently? Like what could I have done to make this better for her? Or could I have done things differently? And the vet kept telling me that I couldn't have done things differently, that her teeth were pretty good, but that it's just normal wear and tear and a normal part of aging for dogs to have bone loss and to have those teeth removed, and that she would probably feel more comfortable in the long run if we get those extracted. So I feel terrible. Like her teeth are all in a vial and I just keep looking at them and I'm like, they're perfectly good teeth. They all have the roots. They don't have signs of like tartar and gingivitis on them. They don't have signs of much plaque and tartar buildup. Like they look good. I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I just have to keep telling myself that it was for the better in the long run. Oh my Herky, but I felt so bad. Like I felt terrible. I stayed up that night. I kept waking up and checking in on her just to make sure that she was okay. And thank God she is much better this morning. Like last night, she wouldn't even eat anything. She must have been so nauseous from the medication, so groggy, in pain, confused. I was terrified, honestly. Like she wouldn't even eat anything. And Herky, you guys know she's a shark and she was refusing food. It just drove me completely crazy. But this morning she's doing better. So your girl is still recovering. This is day 1 post-op. She got operated yesterday. She's already doing so much better. I'm so proud of her. She has some pain medication. She has to be on leash walks only for the next 2 weeks just to make sure she doesn't eat anything and doesn't further damage her gums. Because right now her mouth is full of stitches. I just feel terrible for her. Thankfully, she is on raw diet, so it's already a soft food. So we're just going to keep an eye on her girl. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, Herky. So this is going to be it for... Oh. And she's been coughing a lot like this, and they said it was normal because she was intubated during the procedure. She had a tube down her throat for oxygen, so it probably caused some inflammation and some discomfort on her throat. So she's been coughing a bit today. So this is going to be it for our update. It's been a rough few weeks for us, you guys. Thank you for your support and your love always. Just thought you'd be aware of our girl's condition. Cavaliers are very fragile breeds and I was very fortunate with their health up until now, but I'm happy that it's pretty mild for Milton's heart, and I'm glad Herky has her teeth taken care of. I'm happy Milton has her tooth taken care of. So that's going to be it for now, you guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We love you and we'll see you soon. Bye.